guys, it's Syama here, CEO of Scaling Retail, and today we're chatting about sustainability in 2021 and beyond. Now, sustainability has been an incredible force in our industry, certainly has become more and more top of mind, not just as we have our eyes to climate change, but also as we take a look at the changing values and behaviors of our customers. Now, how have things been shifting? Well, obviously, guys, we're seeing Gen Zs and millennials increasingly looking at brands who are actually implementing sustainable development goals into their business models. We're not talking about the preachy stuff where it's blasted all over social and it's used as more as greenwashing, but the brands that are actually standing for and doing something internally within their business models. Now, the levels by which people are using green marketing to their benefit can really be judged in terms of two different components. We have our greenwashing, which are those who are claiming to do things for the environment when they're not. And then we have those who are simply implementing strategic things in their business as a core triple bottom line, and then really hoping that they can continue to do better. Now, the best brands out there are the ones that have specific brand value tenets that are not just customer focused, but environmental and people focused. And when we start to think about those sustainable development goals that came out of the United Nations, I highly encourage that each of you take a look online and take a look at which of those 17 different goals your business can actually align itself behind. There are so many other ways, guys, that you can implement these strategies as well. Number one, taking a look at the B Corporation certification. Now, being B Corp certified, I think, is an amazing type of way of saying, hey guys, look and see this brand that I'm affiliated with, and it's landing more and more with consumers. 5-10 years ago, I would say people knew about B Corp certification, but today in 2021, when someone sees that certification at the footer of your website, automatically they're starting to have some recognition here between what that means and the fact that you are a sustainable brand. So take a look at what those icons are that are truly reflective of what your business is doing and who you're affiliated with, and make sure you use those strategically. Now, in sustainability, one of the biggest gripes that I've traditionally had is that sustainability was really relegated to those affluent and luxury consumers. After all, the supply chain was quite taxing to be able to actually get a product that was organic, produced with fair labor practices, and ultimately had a minimal carbon footprint and was good for the environment, perhaps using natural dyes as well. If you start to stack up all the different ways in which a brand can be sustainable, you actually end up finding yourself potentially only able to cater to an affluent type of consumer, and potentially, guys, even with a very small profit margin for yourself. So my suggestion is to take a stance on what it is you can actually implement within your business that is in alignment with your own personal values. This is very important. In a recent conversation with one of the co-founders of Kuyana, Shilpa was saying that she is constantly looking for ways in which her business can do better. And I think that coming at it from the perspective of here's what we do implement and here are the ways in which we're looking to improve, actually give your customers a true sense of the fact that you are human as well. We are all trying to do our best to be sustainable and ethical, and knowing that that is embedded into your culture, the ways in which your employees are looking at sourcing, at vendors, not just for products, but for all the different areas of your business. Who are those relationships that you're building with, right? Who are the vendors when it comes to things like your paper resources? Or who are the agencies that you're working with when it comes to developing those practices? Ultimately, internally, it becomes very important to come up with your mission statement, your core values, and making sure that it aligns with that customer market fit. Next, we take a look from the lens of sustainability at all the different innovations and ways in the last few years we've been able to implement new types of fabrics into the production and supply chain. Things like apple leather, so fascinating. Creating fabrics that are made out of banana fabric, also amazing. I've been fortunate to be behind the scenes of some very interesting brands that are on the forefront of what it means to have a true end-of-life consideration for those garments. Also considering things like upcycling, vintage, Double RL just came out. So Ralph Lauren just came out with a whole slew of products that were focused on showing a vintage curation. That means alongside of those full price products, they're selling used clothing. This is an incredible model. It is showing a tremendous amount of value into what consumers are looking at and what's important to them, and it's diversifying that revenue stream. Because guess what? The cost of goods in that vintage for them were probably quite low compared to the higher price tag and the subsequent markup that they're actually implementing in store. Now, another great innovation that I've actually been seeing is coming from the company to the market. In a recent conversation with them, I found it was so fascinating that they are now looking at the ways in which they are going to be able to really move the needle on making sustainability more widely able to be purchased and consumed. It's been a huge gripe of mine when we start to think about the ways in which we're able to distribute access to products, that we actually find ways of making it democratized so someone at any income level can actually have better purchasing power and make an impact with their money. To the Market is working on collaborations and relationships by getting these kinds of sustainable, globally produced products into outlets and off-price retailers, and I truly believe into the hands of people who will be able to have some greater accessibility to them. I would encourage you as well to ask yourself, does my product need to be a high price point, or do I really want to be able to provide sustainable products to the mass market? Lots of opportunities there. Now, when it comes to the branding and positioning of sustainable business models, what's very important to understand here is that the best brands have been positioning themselves as customer-centric first. They're focused on the brand communication of the high aesthetic visuals, of how they're communicating and speaking directly to the customer, and they don't just double down and hone in on the fact that they're sustainable. It's not enough anymore. In fact, it was never enough. It's just simply that those diehard consumers were actually specifically looking for brands like that and really narrowed down the focus based on sustainability. My hope for each of you out there who's out there wanting to produce a sustainable brand is that you actually end up selling to a consumer who goes, oh my gosh, I love this brand and it's sustainable. Not, I love this brand because it is sustainable. We need your communication and brand development to be strong enough to stand on its own, that it becomes a lovely way of communicating values without it being the sole purpose why people are producing. Now, I'd like to do a quick plug here for the Center of Advancement of Garment Making, run by Caroline Preby. Now, what I find so interesting about this center that she's developed and the Center for the Advancement of Garment Making is that she actually takes an inside look at your entire supply chain and is able to give key recommendations on production that are actually going to help you maintain a positive bottom line. Some of the areas that she's really opened and exposed my eyes to have to do around things like, where are your buttons actually being manufactured? It's not just simply the fabric and the dye, but it's everything on the trim. It is everything beyond just the actual fabrication itself. So I would highly suggest starting to research and take a look at all the ways in which you can improve your supply chain, all the different levels of your business to push it forward that way. Because guys, when 67% of Gen Zs and when over 70% of millennials are saying that sustainability are a key component of brand loyalty, you simply cannot afford to not have a strong positioning play on how you're going to incorporate that into your brand business value and your model for scalability. All right, guys, that's it for me here at Scaling Retail. If you have questions on how to position your brand properly, on the key components of consumer trends, and where people are looking for you to build your business model into, send me an email at hello@scalingretail.com. Would love to sit down with you, strategize your business for success, and help you reach those sustainable development goals that resonate so much with you and the future of your business. Talk to you soon. Bye.